Joining us now is Adrienne Mitchel, our COVID reporter, with some big news on the vaccine front.
That's right, guys. Last night, the CDC approved both the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson booster shots.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. Can you tell us what these approvals mean?
Absolutely. The new approvals come about a month after approving the Pfizer booster. This means all 3 COVID vaccine boosters have been approved. People eligible for the Moderna booster echo that of people eligible for the Pfizer booster, those 65 years and older, and younger adults at high risk of severe COVID-19 or complications. Americans eligible for the Johnson & Johnson booster are those 18 years and older starting 2 months after their original J&J vaccine. The FDA also announced Americans can switch vaccines when choosing a booster shot. So if I was originally vaccinated with Pfizer, I could choose to get a Moderna booster. But regulators have not announced whether sticking to one vaccine or mix and matching is preferable. Despite all this talk of boosters, health experts continue to stress the most important thing is getting first doses to those unvaccinated.
First doses that matter most for community spread, for hospitalizations, and for death. It's not the boosters that are going to make the difference, it's those first doses of vaccine.
Here to answer some questions about boosters is infectious disease expert Jerika Lam. Thank you for joining us. The FDA is allowing mix and match boosters. Why does this work?
Mixing and matching actually can benefit for a couple reasons. Is that when we're looking at 2 different vaccines with 2 different pathways or mechanisms, we are actually attacking the same virus in 2 different, I would say 2 different, approaches or strategies. And so in a way, we are trying to be a little bit smarter than the virus right now. So that's one advantage of having mix and match vaccines. The second obvious reason is because what we notice globally is that there is a shortage of COVID-19 vaccines or a shortage of availability.
Thank you for clarifying that. The FDA and CDC approved the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson booster shots. Will we need a booster shot for the boosters? When does it end?
We hope that maybe by springtime that this whole pandemic simmers down and we can have better control and be ahead of this virus rather than always chasing it with boosters. So I think that's a strategy moving forward, is trying to get a lot of people vaccinated, fully vaccinated, and those who are immunocompromised or at highest risk for reinfection, than to get a booster so that they are not becoming reservoirs for the virus to replicate and become a newer variant or more infectious variant to just be in our communities. So our goal is to combat this virus and defeat it with the vaccination process.
Now, I'm sure you felt the colder weather, and there is concern that colder weather will keep people indoors and there could be a spike in COVID cases. How can we decrease the chance that there will be a spike?
Try to be around those who are fully vaccinated. So in a way, we are around people who are basically not carriers of the virus, first of all. And second is to take safety precautions, wearing masks around people we don't know if they're vaccinated or not, or if we're in crowds and indoors that basically don't have good ventilation. Maybe all the doors, windows are closed because it's so cold outside. I would encourage all of us to wear a mask unless we're eating or drinking. It's like being around people with a cold, right? If I know a stranger who has a cold and is sniffling and sneezing a lot, my intuition and my actions would be that I would stay away from that person and try not to get so close to them so that I would prevent myself from getting infected. So that is the same analogy that I would give to everyone.
Dr. Lam, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. In other COVID-related news, police unions and officers in several cities are pushing back against vaccine mandates. Online site Officer Down Memorial page, 476 law enforcement officers have died from the coronavirus. That's 5 times more than have died from guns. Experts say that statistic should convince police to get the vaccine.
I'm not comfortable with telling people what they should do under normal circumstances, but we are not in normal circumstances right now. Take the police. We know now the statistics. More police officers die of COVID than they do in other causes of death. So it doesn't make any sense.
Former Miami Police Chief Art Acevedo supporting vaccine mandates was one reason he lost his job. Acevedo continues to endorse getting vaccinated.
We need to take a time out, take a step back, put the emotion aside, and just start getting the information from public health authorities and understand that we have a responsibility not just to ourselves and our families, whether it's a gunshot or it's a virus, it is permanent and it's fatal.
Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva says he won't force his employees to be vaccinated, despite the county mandate. He says doing so would likely result in 5 to 10% of his workforce quitting. This has been your COVID segment. I'm Adrienne Mitchell.